Now we are learning the Dvar Malchut. Oh, and we forgot to give charity. Forgot to give charity today, so it's never too late to give. 1 second. Where is this? Here we go. Here we go. Mhm. Yes. Okay. Good. Good. No, 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 no. That's not what I wanted. Just 1 second. There we go. What's happening over here? Okay. Good. And now, 1 second. It's off 1 second, please. There we go. Good. Okay. Now let's give charity. We didn't give charity today. Yeah. What's going on? There's something wrong. Oh, okay. Charity. We have a charity box. Here it is. Here is their coins. Here's the hand charity. Charity saves from death. Charity saves from all bad things, and it makes all good things happen. Okay. Now we're talking about Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat Higia. Here is Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat is going to be next week, but this week is preparing for it, this Shabbat. Okay. The Yom Chamishi, oh no, so he's talking about the weeks. Okay. There's a special, next week is going to be Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat is called the first, it's called the first day of the year, the Rosh Hashanah, New Year's Day of trees. This is really relevant essentially to the land of Israel, but this is because why it's as far as the topic of Meiser goes, because you're not supposed to give Meiser 1/10 from the produce of one year on the produce of another year. So when does it start? It's in the land of Israel. The land of Israel, as soon as comes to B'Shvat, is that starts a new period as far as giving tithes goes. Like it's expressed, like it's stressed in the custom of the Jewish people that we eat on Tu B'Shvat fruits, especially the fruits with which are praised the land of Israel. What's the sentence say? It says, Israel is a land of wheat and barley, grapes, figs, pomegranates, a land of olives, and dates. Dvash in this case means dates. So there's all the fruits we have of the land of Israel is praised by, especially the fruits. There's wheat and barley are not as fruits as such, but we have grapes, figs, pomegranates, olives, and dates. The tachlit hashlemut, the whole completion of this is the Knesset, when the Jewish people go into the land of Israel in the future. The land of Israel is really only complete when all the Jewish people are there. All the Jews have to be in the land of Israel. When all the Jews are in the land of Israel, then there's the Jubilee year, the 50th year, and etc. Then there's the law of a ger toshav, right? Non-Jews are officially allowed to live in Israel. They accept on themselves the 7 commandments, and then they can live in the land of Israel. A lot of laws are only relevant when all the Jews are in the land of Israel, which that wasn't that much time when all the Jews were in the land of Israel. They were there for like the 400 years, the Jews, when they went in to Israel until the first temple was built, and they were there for about 150 years, something, of the first temple. No, yeah, 200 years of the first temple, something like that. First temple, until the 10 tribes were exiled. So maybe in Jewish history, let's say Jewish history began from the going out of Egypt. So 3,300 years ago, in that time, there was maybe 600, 700 of those years were all the Jews were in the land of Israel. But nevertheless, and Moshiach is going to make it happen again. Moshiach is going to draw all the Jews back to Israel. He's even going to bring the Israelis back to Israel. How many Israelis left? So it says, when all the Jews are back in the land of Israel, then it's going to be something different regarding the fruits. The fruits, kol miyuchad, especially the fruits of the Holy Land, and especially the fruits that were brought to the Holy Temple. That's mainly the fruits, and that's the whole idea of fruits, which are meant in the Torah. Why does the Torah even deal with fruits? Such a special thing, these special fruits. The Torah is a religious book, right? Why does it have to tell you the fruits that the land of Israel is praised by? Because the idea of fruits is pleasure. And the Torah is supposed to be the source of all pleasures. That's the Tamia Torah. That's the secrets of the Torah, Panimita Torah, the inside of the Torah. Like it's expressed that it's called the fruits that the land of Israel is praised by. The last one is dates, but it doesn't say dates. It says dvash, honey. The word honey is talking about the juice that comes from dates. But the word honey means honey, sweet. And this is talking about the inside of the Torah, which is sweet. Says that when Rebbe Akiva, when he would learn Torah, his eyes would run tears from pleasure because he would learn the secrets of the Torah. The main revelation of the secrets of the Torah will be what the Moshiach will reveal. Torah Chadasha Me'itei Tetzah is what's called the new Torah, the soul of the Torah, which will be revealed in the future. And that's the fruits. So now we see this strange holiday, which is the first, the Rosh Hashanah, the New Year's Day of fruit trees, is really very important. It's hinting at the deep secrets of the Torah that will only be revealed in the days of the Mashiach. The calls in, all this is stressed on the 10th Ba'asiri, on yesterday, the 10th day, and the 11th day of Shvat. Today is the 11th as we're speaking. And especially in this year, right now, the 10th day of Shvat, in the 11th month, in our generation, this is the day of the passing away of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak. Shabo, that was made an elevation. On the 10th day of Shvat, the day that he passed away in 1950, it says when a tzaddik passes away, that all of the deeds that he did in the course of his life, and all the Torah, and all of the service, the prayers and the good deeds that he did, Asher Avad, that he did all the days of his life, it becomes like one big unit, and it all elevates to a higher level. With an end which is incomparable. Beginning beginning with the elevation of the previous Rebbe himself to a higher level of blessing, a higher level of ability to affect the world. He's not limited by his body anymore. And the soul itself was the essence of what the Rebbe was. That's the blessings that he brought into the world. Those are even stronger now than ever. It's not limited by a body. And by means of him, Gamaliah, the called Gdori, elevates the whole entire generation. But the Reisha Gufa Azla, like it says, the body goes after the head, and the Rebbe is the head. It says the letters Rebbe, Reish, Beis, Yud, is Rosh Ben Israel, the head of the Jewish people. Kamudgash, like it's stressed in the continuation of the days, like we said, that from the 10th day comes the 11th day. That's today, the 11th day. The 11th day of the 11th month, that was when the 11th month is Shvat. That's this month. The 10th day was when the previous Rebbe passed away. The 11th day was a year later. On the 11th day, that's when the Rebbe assumed the lead of Chabad, where he, how do you say, assumed the position of Mashiach. The previous Rebbe was the Mashiach. The Rebbe said a lot of times. And when but Mashiach has to be a person that's alive. So the Rebbe said, well, the previous Rebbe is going to come back. He's going to come back from the dead. So the Rebbe assumed his position, right? That he's alive. His position. You can say the same thing about the Rebbe, that the Rebbe is also not alive. Of course you can say it. Of course you say it. But the fact of the matter is Mashiach is going to be something different. It says that Mashiach is going to be one of those people that he went into heaven with his body. What that means, I have absolutely no idea. What it does mean is that his body and his soul are not separated, and just as his soul is alive, as his body is still alive. Does that make any sense? It doesn't make really any sense to me, but it's true. I'm certain without any doubt that it is true. How it's going to be, who knows? What does it mean? People went into heaven in their bodies. Elijah the prophet comes to every bris in his body. He comes to the body. You ever see him? I personally have never seen. The Inyan said this is stressed especially in when the 10th day of Shvat, when it falls on Friday, like it did this year. That in it says Friday. I'm sorry, Wednesday. Oh yeah. And when it falls on Wednesday, Yom Revi'i. Wednesday was the day. If you look in the Bible, it says on the 4th day of the week. That's Wednesday. The 4th day of the week. That's when God put the sun and the moon in the sky. Nitlu ha'ma'orot. Shtei ha'ma'orot ha'gadolim, the two big luminaries. Shebezeh rumors, this is the whole intent, the whole content of the elevation which was made after the Rebbe passed away. What was the big revelation? He passed away on the 10th. And what was the revelation was the 10th and the 11th. The 10th day the Rebbe passed away, that's the elevation of all of the work that he did his whole life was elevated. And the 11th day, that was the day that the Rebbe took over a year later. That this was in addition to the fact that we've been talking about previously, about the number 11, that we said the number 11 is 1 over 10, the oneness of God over the 10 commandments, the oneness of God over the 10 utterances that the world was created with. And that's the number 11 because of the month. That's the idea of the moon, which the moon is called the small luminary. There's also a completion of the 11th day because of the month, of the day. The day. Echad Asar B'Taroto, the pureness of 11, like we said before. So the 11th day itself is special. Number 11 is special. It shows on the oneness of God, which creates and gives meaning to and gives life to all of the 10 sfirot and the 10 commandments, etc. The main thing is in the 10th day of the month, Asiri, the Achar Asar, and the 11th day of the month, in the month, the 11th month, in this year. What is this year, says the Rebbe? This year the Rebbe was speaking was Tafshin Nun Beit. That was the year. Now the previous Rebbe passed away in 1950, and this was 1992. So in Hebrew, the Rebbe previous Rebbe passed away in Tafshin Yud, and this is 42 years later. Nun Beit. This is 42 years later. She'akashura, from Tafshin Yud to Tafshin Nun Beit. She'akashura, this is connected to 42. Remember that number 42? This is connected to the 42 journeys that the Jewish people made in the desert. That by means of these 42 journeys that we talked about, there were 42 elevations of the Jewish people. They became more and more mature. Right? Like in grade school, you go from first grade, the second grade, the third grade. It's called an elevation. Become more, the wisdom becomes more integrated in your personality. That's what it's supposed to be. School is supposed to be. Shekavar nishalmu kol il aliyot means that everything has been finished. 40 after the Jews finished the 42 journeys in the desert, then they went into the land of Israel. They had refined the desert, so to speak. Membe Yos, these 42 days, 42 days, the 40, I'm sorry, the 42 days of the from the passing away of the Rebbe, Kol Aliyot, and all these elevations. In this case, we're talking about 42 years for Kol Aliyos, all of these elevations, which were by means of our work and our service of the 42 years since then, that they are like the 42 journeys that the Jewish people took in the desert. We have brought to us now, says the Rebbe, just like the 42 journeys, that was the last generation, they went into the land of Israel. We are also the last generation of exile. We are the first generation of the redemption, just like the Jews It was the last generation in the desert, and those same people, they went into the land of Israel. But take of them, yet immediately, says the Rebbe, Naseh Hachnisa, we will all go into the land of Israel, a wide, great land. Sha'az then will be a completion of the number 11 that we spoke about before. That's the 1 over the 10. Antu chad, you gotta, you are 1, but you're not a numerical 1. So what's the Rebbe trying to do? The Rebbe is trying to make us aware that God wants to be revealed in the world. To a certain degree, God is already revealed in the world. That the creation is already screaming out for the Creator. And just like the Jews wandered for 42 years in the desert in order to internalize this message that God really cares about everything we do, it's very important to Him. And the world becomes a little bit more transparent so that we see the meaning behind everything instead of just seeing everything. Says the Rebbe, that's it, we've reached it. We're 42, in our case, 42 years after the Rebbe, 42. Okay, now, since the Rebbe said these words, which is in 1992, so there's already passed 34 years, long time. 34 years has passed since then. So what happened? What has happened? What's the answer? I don't know. But for one thing for sure is that it's really late. And it doesn't mean that the time has passed and that's it. It means any second now, it has to come. What's it delaying? I don't know. But that's what it's supposed to be. Right? That's exactly what's supposed to be. Exactly what's happening is exactly what was supposed to happen, but that's already in the past. Now in the future, any second now, Moshiach has to come. We've been saying that for the last 2,000 years. Any second now, that's it. Okay, let's just forget about the past. And that's a big test. It's a big test and it's a terrible test. And any normal person will say, oh, come on. What are you talking about tests for? You guys are nuts. And the answer to that is you're right, 100%. We are definitely nuts. There's no doubt about it. You're crazy. Any person that really believes in this stuff has to be crazy. And Jewish people are essentially crazy. And that's what it takes. The Rebbe, in the speech that the Rebbe gave, that he handed out, was that you have to have shtut of kedusha. You have to be crazy. A Jew has to be crazy. And craziness of holiness is the only thing which will combat and transform the craziness of thinking this world is really real. We have to attune ourselves totally to this world and forget about all the spooky stuff about blessings and God and commandments, and let's just be normal. And in Israel, more and more people are becoming crazy. More and more people are becoming crazy. And they're doing Torah and they're doing the commandments, but crazy in a healthy way. In a healthy way. Okay, so what do we, so the same thing, the previous Rebbe stood against the whole entire government of Stalin. And Stalin's main method of convincing people was killing them. He killed like millions of people. And it was very effective. You know, he killed one person and 10 people were afraid of him. He killed 10 people and 1,000 people were afraid of him. And so they did what he wanted to. That, by the way, is the, what do they call it? Modus operandi, is it called? of communism. Communism. And that's like all these students, and a lot of them are Jews. A lot of the communists were Jews, a lot of them, right? The ones who put the previous Rebbe into prison, they were all Jews. They were the Yevsechzia. So there's the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, he had the insanity to stand against Napoleon, to stand against all these people that hated him, that wanted to kill him, and he was in their hands. They imprisoned him. And they all saw that only God was helping him, and it had absolutely no effect on them whatsoever. Me'aharos, one of the things we can learn from all this, as far as actual deed, what we're supposed to really do, what are we supposed to do, is l'hosif, we have to add on, and we have to complete, and do in a complete, wholesome way, and everything which is relevant to the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. Learn the Maimorim, his Torah that he wrote, in a way like 10 people sitting together. Also, you have to go in the ways of the previous Rebbe. the customs, namely spread out Judaism, advertise Judaism, invite other people to come to learn with another person Torah, even if it's 1 minute to learn Torah, and especially the inside of the Torah, the ideas of Chassidut. Spread them out to others. Don't keep it to yourself, including especially making forbringings on this day. It should be in a happy way, and it should be with song, like we have been empowered to do so from this Shabbat, Shabbat Shira. This Shabbat is the Shabbat of song. In addition, that's one thing. Number one, do what the Rebbe says and do it in a happy way. Previous Rebbe, learn Torah, especially learn Chassidut, and teach others Torah, and especially Chassidut, and do it in a happy way, with song, and make Hasidic get-togethers. Another additional one is that's the idea of singing regarding prayer. Prayer is called rina, is called singing. Dila, rina, ditza, ba'ofen shel shira. Your prayers should be in a way of singing. Now, this doesn't mean communal singing. This doesn't mean that everyone, it's very nice if you want to do it. In Chabad, they don't do it that much, right? Adon olam asher malach ateren kol yitzir nivra. That's very nice. You want to sing the song, but the song should come from your heart. It's not just you're singing because the guy next to you is singing and you're part of a group. It should be that all of you are singing as individuals to God. That's what we just finished learning in Torah Or. Like it's known that the first Rebbe of Chabad, when he would pray with a song, with a melody, and all the time something different. Sing. Shenosaf al Shira, in addition to the singing from below to above, also has to be right now, after we finished all these elevations of the previous Rebbe, the song which comes from clinging and desiring a higher level of godliness. That's what's called, eventually God will sing the song. It'll be a shir chadash, the new song which will come from God. Everyone will be inspired. Interestingly, there's an opinion that when the Jewish people went across the sea and they sang the song, it's very complicated. You have to look in the Bible. You see in this week's Torah portion, the song which is sung, where is it found? It's found in the book of Exodus. I'll tell you in 1 second. The book of Exodus, where is it here? Exodus, it says the book of Exodus, chapter 15, from sentence 1 to 19. And it's very complicated. The words over there are complicated. Asher el Hashem ki go ego sus barach v'yom. We say it every day. The Jewish people had never heard the song before. And when they crossed the sea, there was about 3 million Jews that sung. So let's say all of the women didn't sing. It says the women sang afterwards. They sang with Miriam, took the thing, and they sang together with Miriam. So let's say that only the men sang, right? So there was, let's say, 600,000 men. That's above the ages of 20. So under the ages of 20, it could be there was an equal amount. So let's say there was 1 million men, right? And they all sang all of the song together. Moses just began, and then everyone sang all together. How did they know the words? How could it possibly be? It made no sense. It says that's hinting at the fact that in the future, God is going to sing the song and he'll put it into the hearts of everybody and they'll sing the song. But now there also has to be singing with happiness because God is creating us. God is protecting us. God made us that we're Jews. God, and it gave us the Torah. We're able to do commandments. We should be happy every moment of our lives. Every moment is brand new. But we shouldn't be satisfied. This is not what the way it's supposed to be. The world is definitely not the way it's supposed to be. There's still tremendous suffering going on, and there's a lot of confusion in the world. Therefore, we have to be happy with the present, but not satisfied with the present. It has to be totally different. But happiness is an essential ingredient of Judaism, that you have to be happy with what you've got. And we can also add on in the Or, and to arouse people regarding making forbringings in every single place, on the 15th day of Shvat. 15th day of Shvat. That's going to be next week. Which day next week? Let me have a look over here. I think it's Tuesday, isn't it? Tuesday. I don't know. We probably looked yesterday, but I forgot. What can I do? Here we go. Today, calendar we got. Here we go. Oh. So we got, let's see, how does it go like this? Oh, 15th. Yeah, 10th day. Oh, yeah. So the 15th is Sunday. The 15th day of Tevet, of Shvat. I'm sorry, of Shvat. Tu B'Shvat is no. I got the wrong date over there. What am I doing? What's going on over here? Here we go. January, February. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm sorry. Here we go. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's right. Okay. So it's Tuesday night. Tuesday night. No, it's not. This is awful. I got okay. Somehow or other my my telephone is here we go. It is Monday. So it's Sunday night. Good Sunday night. Sunday night. All these downloads here are confusing. Okay. So Sunday night will be the 15th day, Tu B'Shvat. It'll be Tu B'Shvat, 15th day. Rosh Hashanah, this is the first day of trees. This is the New Year day of trees. This is especially relevant to us, man, because man is called Adam Eitz HaSadeh. Man is the tree of a field. Even though the sentence in the Torah, you have to sort of reinterpret the sentence because the sentence is, is a man a tree, right? It says you go to a city to conquer the city and to kill people, but don't chop down the fruit trees because fruit trees are not people. You're there to kill people. You're making war against people, not against trees. That's a simple meaning. Adam Eitz HaSadeh, right? He says, but the words say, just taken out of context, man is like the tree of a field. What does it mean? That the main thing of a tree is that it gives fruits. Fruits are the good deeds that you do, but also a tree has to have roots. That's your faith that you have. There's Ubafran, and especially what you're attached to, the fruits which are praised, which would give praise to the land of Israel. Because like you will be, like it says, that every Jew is called a desirous land. There is in each and every Jew all of the details of these 7 different types of fruits that the land of Israel is praised by, which is explained in different places. Where's the wheat part of a person and the barley part of a person and the grapes and the pomegranate. Like it's explained many details in this. It's explained. There's many great rabbis that explain what is the figs inside of a person, how is a person compared to a fig, how is compared to the grape, how is so this is the New Year's Day of trees, so there has to be something in addition new by every single Jew, each and every person according to his ability. And certainly you will use these days in order to explain and to arouse others that they should increase in the service of God. And like we said before, the idea of fruits is pleasure, including especially to arouse a desire and a longing and a feeling of joy that immediately, any second now, Moshiach is going to come and he's going to bring all the Jews to the Holy Land. And then the Jewish people will eat from the fruits, from the fruits. The Jewish people will eat from the fruits, good fruits of the land of Israel. And they will also do all the commandments which are relevant to the land of Israel. There's all these commandments. There's a famous opinion from the Ramban, even though that opinion is not accepted, but it's certainly not rejected. And he said that the only place that the commandments are really from the Torah is doing it in the land of Israel. Anyway, may it be God's will that even before the 15th day of Shvat, that it will already be the completion of what's called the Moshiach, who will be Ish Tzemach. He will be a man of a plant, Tzemach David. The Moshiach will be called a plant, Ish Tzemach. His name will be Tzemach. and it will be Vakam Shevet B'Yisrael. It says that he will Shevet B'Yisrael. It says that there will be a it's one of the curses that transformed into blessings from Bilam. Bilam. It says there will be a shevet, a ruler. The word shevet means a ruler, a staff of rulership, and that's this month, Shvat. And it will come choter. There will come a branch from the tree of Yishai. And there will come a sprout from his roots. Yifrach will grow. In other words, Mashiach is likened to a tree. Yamod Melech Beit David, like it says, there will stand up a king from the house of King David, and he will fight the battles of God, especially in Amalek. That's this week's Torah portion, and he'll build the holy temple in its place. That's the language of the Rambam. Ubapashtos is simply that immediately, take off a miyad, really, that will come to the Ashtei Asar B'Chodesh. The Rebbe was speaking, it was the 10th day of Shvat. When the Rebbe was saying, no, this was the preparation for the 10th day of Shvat. The Rebbe was speaking. He said, immediately when it comes to the 11th day of Shvat, one second, give me a second. This speech was given on the 10th day of Shvat, I think. One minute. I'm making a mistake here. Am I making a mistake? This is right. I'm sorry. This was, the Rebbe was speaking on the day after Yud Shvat. It was in the middle of the week. The Rebbe was speaking. Good. The Rebbe was speaking in the middle of the week. But it said, may it be God's will that immediately, right now, that immediately, right now, should be, and we're now on the 11th day of the month, called the Ashtei Asar, the Chodesh Arboim V'Shtayim, like it was right before the Jewish people went into the land of Israel, that all of the Jewish people, our children, our elders, our sons, our daughters, will all go out from this terrible desert wasteland, which is called exile. The Olim will come to our holy land, to Jerusalem, the holy city, the holy city, the Beit HaMikdash, the holy temple. Because Yosef Hashem, that God will gather again all of the Jews, God will raise up his hand and God gather all the scattered Jews. Then we will make known to God, we will say to God a new song, not just Shira, from below to above, but Shir, a song from above to below, in a way that our mouths will be filled with joy, like it says, Az Yom Le'Tzchok Pino, and that will be the two names of the leader of our generation. Yosef means to gather again, and Yitzchak means happiness. Or in the language of the Torah, we say, Tavo'enu, that God will bring us, V'tita'emo, and he will plant us, Bahar Nachalatcha, in the mountain of your portion, namely where the holy temple is. And then Mikdash Hashem, that the temple of God, Konan Yadecha, God will make it. Hashem Yimloch La'olam Vo'ed, and that God will rule forever and ever, the whole world. Then in continuation, it says by the giving of the Torah, it says Elohim said all of these words, saying, this will be the completion of the giving of the Torah, that we will say the words of the Torah, and as the Torah was given on Mount Sinai, that will reveal Torah Chadasha Me'ite Teitze, that we will feel that the Torah is really coming from God. And it's not just a book that was given by God 3,000 years ago, that it's a book that's given by God constantly, every instant, we'll feel it. The essence of the Torah, the essence of every law, the essence of what the Holy Land really is, the essence of what the Holy Temple is, and what the sacrifices are, we'll all feel it and see it. Good. Now let us, one moment. Let's stop the share 1 second. And then we'll go to this.